Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Miss Faye and this is my world. Okay, I got a special request from one of the subscribers to talk about toxic coworkers. Okay, and I know that having toxic coworkers can be extremely difficult to manage. So let's dive into this. Now, toxic people on a job can make your life a living hell. And that's true. But let's look at it first before we talk about how to deal with it. Let's look at toxic people themselves. See, understand that people are under all kind of stresses today. All kind of stresses. Stresses at home, you understand? And then they spend most of their time on a job that they hate. You understand? So so this affects their attitude when they get to the job. You understand? Many of them come out of homes where they're fighting all night. Every time they come home, it's awful. They don't even want to go home. Then they have to turn around and go to a job that they absolutely hate. And I tell you, it adds to the toxicity. Now, it's different dealing with a toxic coworker. I say that if the boss or the manager is toxic. Now, first, if a coworker is toxic, your best bet is to kind of stay away from that coworker if possible. Now, if you need to work with the coworker, you understand? You need to set some boundaries and just let the coworker know that you will not accept any putting you down or making you feel bad or shouting at you or you know how toxic people can do. They can talk about you, stab you in the back, and all that kind of stuff. These are coworkers. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't see where is much that you can do about the person, about the toxic person. But what you can do is protect yourself from it, from being affected by it. And that's what we're going to talk about. First, we're going to look at if it's the coworker. If it's the coworker, your best bet is to, when you go in, just do the job. You know, if it's something that you need to communicate with the coworker, do that, do the job, and don't hang around the coworker. Don't try to be the coworker friend, or you understand? A lot of times that don't work. When I was working on the job, I had people on the job that were extremely toxic. You know, I don't know why, but they were. What I did my job, and I stayed away from toxicity. I just removed myself every time I could. And position myself with people who were more positive. You understand? If you happen to have friends on the job, when this toxic person is all over you, going to your friends for support, not to complain about the toxic person, because that's not going to do any good to spread gossip. What you want to do, you just want to feel better. You just want to feel better. So maybe if you have a friend on the job, you can talk about positive things, good things, just to lift you up. You understand? Because many of us, it's not like we can just leave the job. We need the job for our financial support. You understand? And what this is, it kind of ties you in to a crazy situation. If you need the job, you're going to have to deal with toxic people. There's no way around it. I mean, you can't transform them. They are going to be who they're going to be. But for you can protect yourself by continuing to love yourself. Don't accept criticism from them personally. Now, if your boss is toxic and he's he or she is on your back all the time and criticizing you all the time, well, you do have free will. And the choice is that you can either stay on that job or you'll have to deal with what's going on the job. You understand? I have not seen where a co-worker can change a toxic person on the job. But you can protect yourself by not engaging in a lot of underhanded activities on the job. You understand? For instance, don't engage in gossip. Don't engage in belittling people. And don't engage in criticizing everything that happens on the job, because now you are becoming toxic. You're adding to the toxicity. It's better if you understand. Go into yourself. That's what I did when I was in a situation like that. I went into myself. I continued to say my affirmations every morning, even before I went to work. You understand? And when I got to work, I concentrated on the job that I'm supposed to do. Now, I had managers that come to find me to cause trouble. Now, one thing that you can try to avoid if your manager is toxic is communicate with your manager everything that you are about to do. Not don't do it first and then communicate it, because a lot of times the managers, you see, they have to answer to somebody. You understand? And a lot of the managers, they have to know exactly what's going on, detail by detail in every department. You see? And so now if you do something in your department, which could be positive, which could help the company, but because you did not communicate it with your manager, now he's pissed. He's pissed because whatever good that you did, somebody said what a good job you're doing, and the manager didn't know that you did it. And the manager wouldn't. I'm going to tell you something about this now. I'm not going to say that this happens on every job, but it happened on my job, where the manager feels that they need to take credit. The managers want to take credit for whatever happens in their department. So, if you do something, you don't get the credit, the manager gets the credit. But if the manager doesn't know, the manager's pissed because they can't take the credit and take it to their boss. You understand? To show that they are doing a good job with their team. See, things like this causes conflict on the job. I think a lot of toxicity happens on the job because of the structure of the workplace. The structure of the workplace. You see, there are not many workplaces that actually care about the employees. They just want you to come and do the job. Whatever the specified job is, they just want you to do that. You understand? But do what you're told. On the job, a lot of times, it's not a place for you to be creative. Unless you're in that kind of job. And a lot of times, if you're in a job that's creative, you're working with other people who are creative. And many times, I mean, there are some toxic people there, but a lot of times, creative people can tend to be more open-minded. And there are some workplaces full of creative people that they are laxed on a lot of the structure of corporate offices. I'll say that, of corporate offices. What I'm trying to tell you is, there are a lot of people out there that can give you tips how to deal with toxic coworkers. My advice is to stay away from them if you can. Stay away from toxicity as much as you can. Now, when I was on the job, I didn't have to work directly with toxic people other than my manager. You understand? And my manager was toxic. But I did not have to deal with the manager on a daily basis. You understand? I just had the type of job that I would see the manager maybe once a week or whatever. And many times in jobs like this, managers take the opportunity to criticize, to beat down, and they think it's motivation. They think that they're motivating you. But they tear you down and try to make you feel bad because that's the only way they know to manage. It's terrible management skills. And it's toxic. But a lot of people feel like if they're in a management position and, they got that boss thing, I'm the boss, and they feel like they need to rule with an iron hand. They think they can get more out of people if they rule with an iron hand. But I don't find that to be true. I don't find that to be true because there are some companies that are recognizing that if you care more about your employees and if they are happy, you can get more out of them. They will work harder for the company that they like. If they like coming to work, they'll be there on time. They'll do their best and all of that. But in toxic environments, you just go there because you have to. You have to make an income. You have to make a living. You got a family to support. You understand? And you going there and standing up against toxic people is only backfire on you. It's only going to backfire on you. Now, I was listening to some information where a woman was giving the information to run down to HR whenever you have a toxic person on you or whatever. Listen, a lot of times it doesn't work. A lot of times you go to HR about a problem and you will become the problem. Because remember, HR works for the company. They don't work for you. And they don't really care about you. They there to get a paycheck too, just like you. Understand? And your problem with a coworker, you understand? It doesn't really affect them as long as it does not affect the company. They don't care. And that's the honest truth. They don't care if somebody is badgering you every day and over you every day. You understand? As long as you are doing the job, that's your problem. What they'll do is they may and may not. They may, and I've seen this happen, where they'll call in the difficult person and bring you in with the difficult person, and then it'll be a debate between you two, which doesn't resolve anything. You understand? You've already tried to work it out with the person on the floor. So what do you need to work it out with the HR person for? I'm going to tell you, I have seen it many times, which HR doesn't do anything. But I have seen it backfire on the person who goes into HR to complain. I've seen that backfire on people many times. Many times where a company, they'll act like, oh, well, we want to make sure that everybody is safe in the environment, and we want to make sure that everybody has a comfortable work environment and all of that. There are too many companies out here that don't care about that. All they care about is the bottom line, is that you do the job, and that's it. That's it. Anything else on the job is your issue. Is your issue. You understand? And I tell you, dealing with HR is why some of the companies have been sued, because HR doesn't handle the problem, so people go outside the company to sue them. You understand? People, this this is a tricky situation, because you have to go to work. You have to go to work, and many of you work for someone. You're not the boss. You understand? So you have to go in there to submit to the rules of the company. And if you think that the company is worried about protecting you, not really. The company is only interested in protecting the interests of the company. Do you understand? So those of you who think you're going to run off to HR and get some kind of resolution to your issue with toxic people on the job, I say you can forget it. I say you can forget it. What I'm advising you to do is try to stay away from these people. Don't try to be their friend. Don't try to go out with them or whatever. Just keep them at a distance. Just go there, try to do your job, keep your head down, and do it as long as you can do it. I tell you, there is no magic answer. I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, let me give you all the ways to deal with toxic people. You better stay away from them. That's what you can do. You can't reform them. It's up to them to decide to change from that. But, see, a lot of these toxic people are toxic, period. Not just that they came to the workplace and became toxic. They are toxic, period. And the company hired them, toxic and all. So that show right there, they don't care about you. You understand? People realize what's going on here. Realize what's going on. You got to go in there and protect yourself. Don't look for these companies to take care of you. You know, they will pay you a salary for doing a job. That's it. That's pretty much it. Now, like I said, there are some companies that are coming up where the owners or the bosses of the company see a new way of working with people, and they ensure a pleasant working environment. But it's not a lot of companies out here like that, especially if you're going in the corporate world. If you're working in the corporate world, you can forget that. Now, I was working in a nonprofit when I worked. Most of my time was in nonprofit. And it's the same thing. That's the bottom line is the company. The bottom line. You understand? And if you complain too much, they'll get rid of you. They won't try to rectify the situation that made you so unhappy. You'll become the problem. You will become the problem. People. You understand? So, watch that. You understand? You know, the company has their little rule book of policies. You know, these are the policies that you abide by, the company policies. I've been with companies where toxic people on the job will blatantly go against the policies, and the company still doesn't do anything because maybe the toxic person is somehow connected to the boss. Might be friends with the boss. Or whatever. Or whatever. See, this is happening a lot. I've seen the boss call in the toxic person. You understand? And whatever they talk about in there, when the toxic person comes out of the office, everything is the same. Nothing has changed except all eyes will be on you. You are the problem. You understand? Be careful. Be careful of that. Be careful. When you are working for other people, many times you just have to submit to what's going on if you need that job. You have to submit to what's going on if you need that job. The best bet is to move to a job where you are more comfortable. But everybody can't do that. Everybody can't do that. It's people that stay on a job until they retire that they absolutely hate it because they mistreated on the job. You understand? Daily. But they needed to work. You understand? So there's no easy fix for this. Except you protect yourself. And when people are overly toxic to you, deal with the person directly. Understand? Just tell the person, I didn't appreciate what you did. I didn't appreciate what you said. Don't talk to me like that. You understand? Do that and see if that works for you. Sometimes it does. But don't put in your head you're going to run on off to HR, take care of it. Many times that can be a mistake. So, people, I hope that you understand this message. I hope you understand it. The best way to deal with toxic people is to remove yourself from them and don't deal with them. And don't deal with them. You understand? If you're on the job, do your job and act like they're not even there if you can. And if the boss is toxic, keep your head down. Tell the boss what's going on to keep the boss off your back, because if the boss is toxic, they're going to be looking for a reason to jump on you. Looking for a reason. And you don't want that. But on the job, keep a pleasant attitude. Even in toxic situations. Because this helps to protect yourself from toxicity. Love yourself. And keep your vibration high. By being more positive. Always think positive, no matter what's going on in your environment. And this will protect you from a lot. This will protect you from a lot. So, people, I think I'm going to end it here. And I hope that you understand this message. You understand, I know a lot of people out here on jobs and they hate it because, you got to go and you got to deal with that toxic person every day. It can be hell. It can be hell. If your job has other departments, maybe you can request to see if you can go to another department or something. You understand? But be careful. I'm going to say this again. Be careful about running off to HR for them to solve your problems. Because I've seen it too many times where then you become the problem. Okay, people, let me know. Let me know how you feel about this message. And I really hope that it helps somebody. I hope that it does. You understand? But before I go, one thing I wanted to say. Don't allow toxic people to train you how to survive on the job. I've seen that too, and I don't want to leave before I tell you this. Some people would go to a job, and because the boss is all over them and, beating them down every day, if they get promoted, they think that's what you're supposed to do. So they do the same thing to the people. You understand? Don't do that, people. Don't do that. You don't have to beat down a person to work with a person or to get a person to do the job, whatever it is that you need for them to do. Just be civil. Just be civil to people and treat people the way that you would like to be treated. That's the best thing. Just treat them the way that you want to be treated. And even with toxic people, do the same thing. But you may need to be direct with them to set your boundaries with them and just letting them know you're not going to accept certain behavior from them. Okay. Again, people, I hope it helps. Let me know what you think. And I wanted to say thank you for those who are leaving a donation. I appreciate it so very much. So, and your comments, keep them coming, because this way it lets me know how you feel about these messages. So, people, I wish you well. I wish you happiness. And I love you all. So, until next time, I hope to see you then.